Weird. All right, we should be live. Let me know. All right, we are live, I think. Sorry about that. I'm hiring. Excuse me. All right, we are live, I think. Sorry about that. I'm hiring an executive assistant and a helper with alerts here, hopefully by next week or so. So we will get the help I so badly need. Because right now, I'm trying to do everything on my own. All right. Robinhood just sent me a thing about gains. Well, that's good. All right, so let's get into, we'll give a couple minutes before we get rolling for people to hop in. And make sure when you do hop in, you hit the like button and subscribe. It helps with the, I guess, the YouTube algorithm and all that jazz. But I want to take a basic approach, basically, from the, they posted on Telegram? Yeah, they did. Good. I want to take a basic approach to the markets. Basically, for example, let's say I just woke up. I went bass fishing all morning. I came back, had a cafe con leche, and I said, what is going on in the world of stonks today? So I want to look at it from a no bias point of view. So kind of like, we'll say from a brand new perspective with no bias. Are you ready to rumble? Yes. Actually, I got something. Hold on. I almost forgot about these. The shades. We got the shades are back. So I'm very sensitive. I'm colorblind to blue light. Thankfully, my new monitor has a blue light blocker, but these shades do help a lot. All right. Should be getting back. I see people are hopping in. All right, are y'all ready to get started? And by the way, do y'all see all my new, oh, I guess I can't move the webcam. I got some new Hogan cards and a new autograph from Hogan. All right, let's get rolling here. All right, so we're going to take, oh yeah, that's the Macho Man. You know, he used to live in Clearwater before he passed, next to Hogan. All right, we're going to take, I'm going to pretend like I'm just rolled out of bed, went bass fishing all morning. I got my coffee and my drink. I have no clue what's happening in the world of stocks. So I want to see from basically a square one approach. So the first thing is I always like to read the morning mashup and just say, hey, what's the plan today for the market? And we can see we got some PMI, boring. And really that's it. You had some stuff this morning, but pretty much boring. Chicago PMI is a big report, so that will move the markets. But, you know, I really don't care about the economic data. I always say there's a reason why economists are not hedge fund managers or traders. That's why they work at a salary gig at a university. They're usually all poor. All right, so I don't not care about the data. The futures are, we'll call this a lazy cat bounce. So really not much. Markets are hunched, it looks like. Asian markets are down. China, Japan, big down move in Japan, which has been doing good. Their markets. Shareholder meetings, do I care about any of these companies? Nope, so we don't have any of that. Analyst days, nope. None of that will matter today, so that's good. Anything in the commodity world? Silver down, copper down, oil down, gold down, and probably the crypto is going to be down. We'll take a look at that in a minute. Blah, blah, blah. Downside movers, upside movers. Since today's Friday, we don't have too much stuff, thankfully. Let's look at the upgrades. LI and PayPal. So let's take a look on flow on those two. Those are a couple names that move. NVDA, but these are really the only upgrades that matter are like Citi, Morgan Stanley, or Goldman. These firms here, like DZ Bank, it's going to have no impact on the stock. Not much. So pretty much not a lot happening pre-market today. Obviously, all eyes are on probably going to be NVIDIA. Redfin's down a lot. We saw a lot of put buying in that yesterday, so I got some puts. So that's going to be good at the open. Those puts should be up around 100%. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. So not a lot of news today. So not a lot of news. So now I want to go to what's happening in the futures market. So all I'll do is I'll do a quick rundown of what's happening. So E-mini S&P. And if you don't do the E-mini S&P futures, you could always do like SPY, but professional traders trade E-mini S&P, and obviously they're continuous contracts, so you don't have to worry about pre-market, after hours. They trade continuously. So yeah, E-mini futures still in a bearish trend, right? Sell programs still winning especially from yesterday. But we are up about 10 points, so that's nothing. We can move 10 points in a minute nowadays. NASDAQ futures literally hunched. We had a big sell-off yesterday thanks to really NVIDIA, but who cares about that one? The Russell is down, and the spot Dow is up a little bit more. So the Dow's doing well compared to risky stocks. Bitcoin is, again, down. We are in a crypto bear market, so just be careful if you're in the cryptos. You did have to, and this is one of my big concerns, Trump Jr. and Michael Saylor, the CEO of MSTR, he came out yesterday, and they were basically all trying to pump crypto. Usually when that happens, when you have people saying to buy the dip, it's usually going to be a lot more pain. And what I mean by that is if we pull up, let's say, Bitcoin on a daily, right, you can see, or if you look at IBIT, there we go, you can see just how bad Bitcoin has been, especially like Ethereum. Right, it's pretty bad, right? I mean, pretty horrible price action. But usually when you have people coming out of the shadows and saying buy a stock or buy a crypto or a coin, usually you're going to have a lot more pain to the downside. Like if you recall, you had Kramer shout on top of mountains to buy the NVIDIA dip. When we were selling off a little bit around 140 here, and then it went down to 117. So we probably retest these levels. I'm still seeing a lot of people saying buy the dips. So when people say buy the dip, there's usually a lot more pain ahead. So you really want to be a contrarian, not follow the crowd, right? Don't be a sheep, be a wolf. One thing I will say is bonds are starting to look good. So you're having a flight to safety in bonds. As you can see, the long bond starting to break out. That's usually a flight to safety. And how are we looking pre-market, by the way? Bonds are up a little bit, so not bad. And if we look at the Japanese yen, you know, this is actually something. Here's one for the bulls. So if you're bullish, you're going to like this. Wow. All right. Well, this is actually bullish for the market. The yen is starting to go down. Probably because Japan was down, but usually when you have the yen down, equities go up. So the yen and markets are inverse. Yen going down means risk on for equities to go up. So that's a little interesting. So I guess we make one little bull case for the bulls, we'll say. So not bad if you're bullish and looking for a bounce. But one thing I do want to keep an eye on, and everyone should keep an eye on, is the market eternals. If you don't know what the market eternals are, listen up. It's a very good guide and will help you. So first thing is the NYSE tick. And let's see if we could get a graph of these two side by side. Maybe we'll put it, let's put it up here. Let's put the SPY, and we'll do like a 10-minute chart. And then we'll do the NYSE tick right next to it. So usually when you have negative 800 on the tick, and it's just $ tick is the ticker. I'll post it in the chat. It's a $ TICK. All right. There we go. I just posted in the chat. Make sure you like the video too. It boosts the algorithm. So usually when you have a negative 800 tick, that's institutional selling. So as you can see from Wednesday, we hit it a lot. I like using it on a 15-minute chart. And then yesterday we had what I would call liquidation break. You had a negative 1200 tick. If you're not used to seeing that, or you're like, what the hell is that, Lance? A negative 1200 tick is like, how do I put this? It's basically like saying you went on a roller coaster and now you're throwing up, and then 5 minutes later, you're still feeling sick and keep throwing up. You're purging everything out. So yesterday, that was the liquidation break. We purged just about everything out of the market, and it's all thanks to NVDA. If you recall on Telegram, I posted a liquidation break on NVDA over the prior low of the day. So that was about 124. And we flushed it and went all the way down to about 120. So that was a nice 4 points intraday move. And then this morning we're down again. So think about that though. If everyone is forced to sell, which happened yesterday, and why was that? Well, look at the Bitcoin. What did Bitcoin do yesterday? It flushed lower, right? We had a liquidation break. So all those margin calls got hit. Basically, people or big investors who own risky assets, so Bitcoin, high-flying tech stocks, Palantir, now NVIDIA, they're out. They got stopped out, meaning they lost their ass off, especially off on margin. So the broker forces them to sell. That's what we saw yesterday. Usually after that happens, you usually get a bounce. Why? Because people got sold, they puked everything out, and then when they get a bounce higher in stocks, what they'll do is they'll have FOMO, and they'll buy it when it goes up because now it's safe, and then we usually go down again. So you have to think, again, what everyone else is doing and do the opposite. So if everyone sold yesterday, what's probably going to happen? Probably bounce. Now, markets historically don't bottom on Fridays. They just don't. Typically, your bottoms are usually Monday, so over the weekend. But one thing to keep an eye on, and again, the bad thing now, because we can't really go back to history because we never had a Bitcoin in crypto until recently. That trades so much over the weekend. If the crypto margin call continues over the weekend and we get like 75 to 70,000 in Bitcoin, it's going to be hell on Monday. You're going to see the indexes probably 3 to 4% limit down. I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't really care about crypto. I don't invest in it. I made 30% on Doge. I should have known it was a bubble then. And then I lost 10% on Ethereum. And I've never touched the damn stuff again. Another good thing to keep an eye on is the trend. So $ trend. This usually moves inverse to the S&P. So for example, when we have an extreme trend like we had here, a 0.6 is extreme, 2 is extreme, you can see we've had some extreme readings the past 2 days. That's very, very rare, and why the VIX went higher. But, and if we look at the ADD lines, our last one, it shows you stocks advancing versus stocks declining. Obviously yesterday, most stocks declined. But if we look at the spot VIX, and this is usually a little sign, what's interesting. If you look at the spot VIX, we've had pretty much doomsday happen. And we went from a VIX, remember when we got those March call spreads and made about 200% back here? The VIX hasn't even really broke out. We're still range bound. So this is two things. One, there's not a lot of fear yet priced in the SPX options. So they're still relatively cheap. Two, the market could just not be buying this volatility and thinking we're just going to go down in the VIX and everything's going to be great. If we were at a higher VIX, like a VIX 30 to 40, then I would say there's a high likelihood that the market rallies a lot. So this time it does feel a lot different. But instead of trying to time the market, like the S&P, which nobody should be trading the SPY. If you trade the S&P, you should trade the E-mini S&P futures for day trading. That's it. Or the XP or the SPX, because you get tax advantages over them compared to the SPY. And that XSP is a mini instrument. But you really should only be day trading that stuff, not or selling premium. You know, like call spreads, put spreads. That's it. You shouldn't really be trying to, do calls in it because the options are priced to perfection. But really, the only way to make money in this market is by trading, again, individual stocks, right? Because you're going to have no advantage on trying to call the S&P or trade the S&P unless you're selling pre or selling vol. So we did start seeing some decent bets yesterday. Does that make sense? Does that make sense why the S&P is very difficult to trade? And again, we're not in a high volatility environment with a VIX at, 21? That's nothing. But does that make sense? And I know you're probably used to people hearing you trade, oh, the S&P, the S&P. Everyone, the smartest minds in the world are looking at it. The options are priced to perfection. So instead of trying to trade it, either sell premium in it, that's what it's made for. And usually that's by SPX or XSP because of the tax advantages. But really, trade individual stocks. By the way, Gilead is having a big move here pre-market. So let's just first start with that one, Gilead. So that Gilead bull came back yesterday with size. Big. We've made a ton of money this year on Gilead. And that trader came back. Not 50 grand or $250,000, $1.2 million bull in Gilead, April 115 calls. So let's pull up Gilead here. And what we're probably going to do in this piggy today is look to do a call debit spread or a vertical. So let's pull up Gilead and take a look at it. And again, this is what I want y'all to start looking at instead of the S&P. Look at this chart in Gilead. Stock's up another $1 pre-market. Does this chart care what the market's doing? Or that the NASDAQ is down 2% on the year? Or the S&P or NVDA is down in a bear market, or crypto's in a bear market. Does this stock give a darn about any of that stuff? No, not at all. So this is a name, as I mentioned on Telegram yesterday. I might have just did it in the option pit. I'm not sure in the free Telegram. To buy these April calls. We've traded this name multiple times this year, and look at it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bullish orders from 97 to 98. So up in here, right? And look at the stock. It's up 10% since then, 12%. So that's what you want to do. And this is what I call repeat flow or repeat offender. It's like, think of it this way. You see the same ticker. It's not NVIDIA. It's not AMD. It's not some Microsoft crap that's correlated with the market. And they come back multiple times for more and more and more. And even at the highs, well, yesterday it wasn't at the highs when they bought them. They laid out 1.2 million on a 5,000 lot at $2.50. That's some confidence. It's like you're at the turkey Thanksgiving dinner and you come back for seconds, for thirds, for fourths, for fifths, for sixths, and you just can't stop eating the pumpkin pie. And look at this, Platform X, daily buy, weekly buy, monthly buy. It doesn't get much better than that, right? So that's one name. You know, it's your money, you do what you want with it, right? But that's a name you could position. Now, if you want to be a degenerate gambler like me, you know, who's buying rocket calls or archer calls for earnings and playing small ball, that's fine. You know, I'll show y'all. I bought a couple $100 worth. You know, literally $155, $300. You know, DJT, $1,500. You know, I'm not trading big on those weekly short-dated options, right? But something like this, I might put 5, 10 grand in compared to $300-400. So position sizing is so important. Like if you recall yesterday in TKO, I had a $20,000 position and I was down 5 grand and then the stock rallied $5 off the low. So I just kept adding and building a position because A, you get time. 2, the chart's trending compared to the stock market. And then 3, it doesn't care what the market's doing. So that Gilead bull is one of the best orders you'll ever see, ever. And then let's also go over this DJT before we get to the market open, because I thought this was interesting. You may be saying, Lance, why in the world are you buying DJT? The stock has done nothing, right? It's not really trending. You know, it's kind of a, I don't know what you call it, a meme stock, I guess, nowadays. But 2 things. 1, 160 grand, it's a decent amount of money. Now, you know, Trump doesn't trade much. The March 25 calls were about $1 out the money. They were cheap, though. I think they were $1.63, so they were relatively cheap, and they were bought above the ask on the last 10 minutes of the day. So stuff like that, you know, I'm not going to take a 10 $10,000 or $20,000 position, but I took about $1,600. So enough for a little swing, you know, because it was March, it was out the money, it was on a high beta, high volatile stock, and you know there's potential, and it looks like you get what, earnings? Was that it? Yeah, and you get earnings, and with Trump, DJT, the short float is probably, it says 12% here. I would probably assume it's closer to 20-30%. Obviously, everyone betting against the president, you know, because people, you know, obviously have their political bias. But let's get into the open here. We're going to stick around for the first 15, 20 minutes of the open. I'm going to look to close Redfin, those Redfin puts I bought yesterday. I'm going to look to get out of them. Archer, I was up 25% on the calls, and then I kept one contract on for earnings, and that one's going to be a big fat 0 for sure today because it is down on earnings. But no worries, that is going to happen, right? Thankfully, I didn't go all in. I also want to take a look at Pepsi. Pepsi with a nice pop. That's a flight to safety stock. I got Gilead on my screen. Disney's up nicely. And then if we look what's moving pre-market, Palantir, I'm putting 40,000 in, a structured note investment in today. So I'm glad to see that down. Could get in at a good price. And then I'm starting to scale in $200,000 and 40,000 increments into small and mid caps over these next couple weeks. I started this week 40,000 and told my guy at Goldman Sachs we're going to build a $200,000 position in my retirement account in the JHAM, that's the mid cap ETF, and the IWM, which is the small cap ETF. So let's get to it and see some of the order flow here at the open. I got my data out. We'll turn that down and keep my watch list up. And we'll close some Redfin, see if Gilead will pull back for us so we could get in at the open. And then let's keep an eye on the E-mini S&P futures as well. Maybe look to add to some DJT if we get a big downturn in the markets. Oh yeah, and we need to close out Rocket. Those Rocket calls need to close out the balance here. Let's try $1.10. Well, let's try actually $1 to get out of Rocket. And I got instantly filled. So Rocket, I sold the balance of those calls at $1. So Rocket, I sold, if you're in a wiretap, I got out of the calls at $1. And then I'm going to try to get out of these Redfin puts here at 50%. And close the Redfin puts from yesterday at 75. I think I got them at 43. So that was good. And then I'm going to see if I could get that DJT here. There goes Pepsi up $2. Pepsi's up $2. How much is Gilead? So Pepsi up $2 here. Wow, big breakout there. Let's see if we get anything hitting the scanner as well. We'll keep an eye on it if we do during the day. Pepsi's a nice flight to safety. How much are those Gilead calls? Might have to wait for some volume to come in. Yeah, they're pretty wide, so we'll wait on Gilead. A little too wide right now for us. See if we can add to DJT. I'm fine holding it since they have earnings. Maybe try 140. Maybe you could slam them. And what I like to do is scale into positions. So I'll buy like a 10 lot, 10 lot, 10 lot till I get to about a 40 lot. All right, I added DJT at 140. So I was able to add to some DJT at 140 from the scanner. Ooh, AAOI. Ooh, a little chip. NASDAQ flushing lower here. AAOI. Ooh, wee. April 25 calls. A little too far out the money for me in AAOI, so we'll avoid that piggy. There goes Disney popping. I would like to add more Disney, but I don't think we're going to get a pullback. sadly, on Disney. So that might be a little sad. If Disney goes straight up from here, I wanted to buy more. If you're warped options, you can still get into Disney, the Disney trade we have on. Go see it in the members area if you need to. But it just pops here about $1 on us. So that's kind of sad. QBT, I might just take the L on that one. I only did a small trade. Yeah, they're at 60. Yeah, it's just going to take a 20% loss. So I just closed QBT. I just don't want to hold any positions that don't have any weight. So any small stuff, I just rather not carry. Palantir puts, the stock already had news, so no point of trading that. That would be reactive, not proactive. We want to be proactive, not reactive, right? We don't want to do too much speculative bets. We want to do more conservative. And then we got Hims and Hers is up. What else is up? J&J, a flight to safety. So not much. All the high-risk stuff is getting hit today, like Palantir. Probably our good friend NVDA. It's actually holding up well, only down 2%, so that's actually a win for that stock. Amazon down. Tesla down a little bit. I would add to Tesla, but I'm just scared the market crashes on Monday, so I don't want any exposure in correlated NASDAQ stocks. Let's keep an eye on the market Eternals. The trend is going up. That's not good for the markets, but the tick is holding, so that's good. And then the ADD line is slightly going down since the open, so nothing good there. A lot of sell programs here hitting at the open. Again, we do need to get margin called. All those cryptos and speculative trades out there, they need to definitely hit a margin call for folks. So that Bitcoin, and you can see it, Bitcoin selling off as soon as the equity markets open. So that will be putting pressure on some equities for sure. Let those margin calls get hit on the cryptos, and then we could get in after. But that's definitely going to affect tech stocks for sure. Some Palantir, now some cheap calls coming in. Wow, that Palantir can bounce here. Where's Palantir? I kind of want to do a lotto trade in it. Those March puts are a long day away. How much are Palantir weekly 81s? If they're under $1, I'm going to slam them. I'll do $1,000 weekly. Ooh, $1.30. We'll wait a little bit. If they get to $1, I might buy Palantir weekly 81s. Maybe just the 10 lot, so $1,000. Nothing crazy. How much are it's going up too. Wow. Ticks are bullish. NVIDIA bouncing. Palantir probably will bounce here. That's bullish. That is very bullish, actually. Let's see. Let's see. Volatility will come out of options in the first 15 minutes. Wow, it's a big tick. It's very good for the markets here. I'm actually liking this a lot. ADD line popping. Wow, NVIDIA popping. This is very good for the markets. How much are those Palantirs? Now they're 150. Wow. Probably should have slammed them at the open. That's a very big tick. It's very good. Look at Palantir. Just wow. 81 now. Penny option on fire. Damn, they're 160. Eesh, Lance, you should have slammed them. AMD. Let's take a look at that one. Good one in the chat. Ooh, AMD bouncing here too. Wow, Palantir. Unreal. Woo, son. AMD weekly 98 calls hitting. 98? What's the stock at? 100? I hate doing correlated to the market trades, but AMD, the 100s. Let's see what else comes out. Gilead, nice pop. E-mini futures. You see how they're popping after flushing lower? And the E-mini S&Ps. So everyone got stopped out at the open. And you see, look at that bounce. That's a massive bounce. So that's a margin call. Those are stops getting hit. That 30-point move, you see how we just flushed and then went up? Those were stop orders getting hit. Those people got forced to sell. So then the market goes up after that. Those are people getting forced, liquidation breaks to sell. Forced. And then after that, markets usually go up. So they usually go up after that. So that's actually really good to see. KVU is up. That's good. QBT is now up. Sold that one too early. Might have sold that one a little too early. QUBT. Because we just got a bounce with the market. Tesla bid now. So after that one got flushed. Amazon weekly calls. Ooh, 207.5s. You know what? I'm going to take these Amazon calls. How's Palantir? Bouncing. MPW May calls. You know what? Let's do a little lotto ticket. I feel like gambling a little bit. And doing a lotto. Amazon 207.5 calls. Yeah, I'm going to see if I can buy these here. Let's do a 5 lot, so $1,000. Just do 188. All right, about those Amazon weeklies from the news flow scanner at $1.88. I'm going to aim for a big profit. I'm not going to play small ball. I'm going to sell half. And let's try to get 240 for them. Again, trying to do a home run trade. Just small, nothing crazy. Just looking for an intraday trade if we get a market bounce here. You'll notice I'm not going out in time. I'm not buying March or April. Why? Because I don't want to hold over the weekend anything correlated to the stock market. I want stuff that, Amazon, Palantir, AMD, NVDA are all going to be correlated to the S&P 500 or the NASDAQ, and I personally just don't want anything correlated right now. I want stocks in their own world. So Amazon up about 10%, 7% I should say. Already, but again, since it's a lotto ticket, you can see I only did $1,000 worth. I don't want to, how do you say, have a lot of risk on. I want to just do a little bit. And if you do need the news flow scanner, there might be the link in the chat. If not, you could always call customer service. Let's keep an eye on this Microsoft. Let's keep an eye on that right here. Microsoft, wow, huge liquidation break. Yeah, that's not good for the market. Apple as well, look at that. You see how we had a little mini flash crash here? Those were all stops getting hit. So that's very, very good to see. All those stop losses got hit right at the open. So that does leave room for stocks to rally higher. MPW, nice bid. So that's good. I mean, it's scary. If you're new and you're like, why are people getting margin called? Well, you got to figure there's a lot of dumb money in the markets, right? You had crypto boom. You had everyone pile into NVIDIA. You had a lot of dumb money in stocks. And now all that dumb money needs to get out, right? We need to flush all those weak hands out. Flush them all out. So just small day trades. Fine to take. You don't have to commit a lot of money, right? You do 1 lot, 2 lot. Now we're seeing some Google weekly calls. 167.5. So probably the same trader from Amazon. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to buy more Amazon. Another 5 lot at 150. Let's try 155 here. Wow, they just bounced. Oh my God, they just bounced 20 cents. Wow. Wow, that's a huge bounce. So Google seeing some weekly call buyers as well, so that's going to help Amazon. Wow. Look at Google bounce here. Damn, that was quick. And Amazon, everything's quick, so you got to be quick here, especially in the weeklies. Wow. Very, very quick bounce here. You could do the Qs or the XSP. Google just popped about 20 cents. Now we're seeing Meta weekly calls. So now you got Meta weekly calls. So you're having the whole shebang. Meta, was that Intel weeklies? Intel, Meta, TSM. They're buying the whole Mag 7 stocks right at the open. Traders are looking for a short-term bounce. I mean, they're like me, degenerates, doing the weeklies, right? Just like me. Google just popped 80 cents. That's a huge move for Google. Wow. How much are these Meta 655s? They're about $3.90. It's a little too rich for me. So Google, Amazon, Facebook, Intel, all seeing weekly call buying. And that makes sense. Look at Palantir go. Palantir calls from the open. If you got filled on them, you're probably up 100% already. Wow, Palantir. Remember I tried at $1? They're $1.95. Wow. They came back for that bad boy, didn't they? Amazon, I'm up 20%. God, I should have got filled on those other ones. I'm going to look to close a couple Amazon here at 213. See if I could get tagged here. If not, I'll try 212. So I get tagged here at 212. No? Well, I was trying to get 20% and then they just jumped down on me. Well, no worries. See if we could wait, maybe get more. All right, I sold some Amazon here at 212. And let's try to get maybe a couple more out here at 220. Oh, I did too many. Did too many. Always good to set profit targets out there. If we could get a rally. If not, we might do a little sideways down action. Gilead on the highs. If you got in that one yesterday, you're doing well. And Palantir still on the highs. Wow. That week, that first order of the day, those first order of the days are usually the best orders of the days. Tesla, nice rally here. Race puts, that's Ferrari. That's too big of a stock for me to trade. Too illiquid as well. I need better liquidity. And if you are wondering, Lance, you trade fast. I do know, but you got to get the scanners. Without the scanners, you're going to be trading blind. And I don't want you to be blind. I want you to see, you know. I want you to have eyes. I don't want you to be blind. And where's our little NVDA? Yeah, NVDA bouncing after getting a little down sell at the open. Wow, Palantir is just taking off like a bandit. Now you're seeing more Palantir calls. 400,000 of the weekly 74s. Woo! They love that one today, don't they? I do think I missed out on Palantir, though. I should have bought it down here, but it jumped too quick, even for me. So it went a little too quick, even for me in Palantir. Let's see what's moving in the equity markets. Trying to get my watch list up here. Hims and Hers is bid. Archer went green. Oh, those Archer calls coming back to life? Probably not. Probably got a ball crush in them. They're 11 cents. I'll take a small loss. Came back though. Better than zero. So Palantir's still going. Man, I was hoping Palantir would stay down today. I don't know when my my order got filled to buy 40, or I bought 30 grand in Palantir. I just don't know when it went out. Hopefully at the open on my structured note. Bank of America bid, Ford bid, RGTI bid. Super Micro down a little bit, but that's really it. And the Qs are pretty much flat. So probably going to be the morning action right there. You got some Riot next week calls, small. I usually don't mess with the crypto, sadly. Just not a crypto trader. Riot coming back. Probably the Bitcoin bouncing too. Yeah, Bitcoin bouncing here. Tesla squeezing here. We should be able to get a nice squeeze in Tesla. Yeah, I'm up some money. Oh, $100. I mean, that's nothing. But we should be able to get a squeeze here in Tesla if the markets can hold and bounce. How much are the Tesla 285s? They're under $1. Actually, they're going to be like $2.50. $4. Wow, that's some juiced up ball, baby. Wow. So why is Tesla going up? Quite frankly, because it's gone down so much, right? So when a stock goes down so much, shorts pile in, and there goes your Tesla call buyers. Some 290s. They're probably what, $1.80, $1.70. They were pretty far out the money, so I wouldn't take them. I got some other ones for the Tesla program. All right, gang, make sure you hit the like button. Archer went from -13 to 3. Yep, I know. Pretty wild, right? That's markets. But yeah, so today you guys got to experience a liquidation break in markets. Then you see a bounce in stocks. So kind of just like we talked about in the pre-market, right? You had a flush lower. Everyone got stopped out. Then we rally up. So remember, don't get caught up in the day-to-day of the S&P. Try to think what's happening on the other side of stocks. So play your opponent's hand. Don't play your hand. Just like in poker. You're sitting at the table. If you know your opponent has crap, you can bluff them out. Know what they're doing and then do the other side. Do the opposite. Be a contrarian. Once you start doing that, keep an eye on your market eternals. Make sure what's going under the hood of the Ferrari is good. It's not junk. It's not, you're not getting negative ticks and watching the market go up. You're holding a positive tick. Markets are going up. The ADD line's going up, right? So it's all making sense what's happening. Your big Momo stocks, Palantir, Tesla, they're starting to catch a bid, right? After getting flushed at the open. You got some names coming back, Hims and Hers, RGTI, Archer, your quantum computing stocks that got very high volatile with highly short interest. They're starting to bounce back. NVDA is starting to hold. So you got a lot of things. The cryptos are starting to go up. You have a lot of names that usually are very sensitive that are now holding very, very well in the markets. Not saying it's going to continue, right? I don't know what's going to happen if we have a margin call Monday or a liquidation break, but you are starting to see a nice bid in the markets. Amazon, not the biggest trade. I only did a 5 lot, up $57. So not a lot of money, but it's better than, better than just sitting here not doing squadoosh, right? So we'll close it off in Amazon. Why not? Let's just go ahead and close Amazon. Sold Amazon at 220, out at 220 in Amazon, and my final contract 222. So $150 on a 5 lot. So not bad at all. About 15% Amazon weeklies. Let's just go ahead, close them out. You were on for 20 minutes, made $150 in Amazon day trades. Obviously, if you did Palantir, those are up a lot more. That's for damn sure. But not bad. I just want to show y'all it's possible using the news flow scanner to trade. Tesla ripping here, so that's good. And if you need anything, call the team. I don't know if Deanna, maybe there'll be a link down below. I'm not sure. Or just follow me on Telegram, and they'll get you hooked up with the news flow scanner. I'm not sure if we have anyone working in customer service. But do that. Get prepared. All right, everyone, I'm out. I might slam some Google here in the afternoon for some more day trades, but that's probably going to be the big move of the market until the afternoon when we start getting a little bit closer to the short covering. Hopefully, we get that in the last hour of the day, which will be good for stocks. And again, we'll try to do some more trainings, not as fast as today, but I know markets are moving fast at the open, so we'll try to do them either after hours or during the slow hours of the day. But just want to show if you're prepared, if you have a game plan, if you know what you're looking at, and you have the right tools, you know, it's not difficult, this market. It's one of the best stock markets to be in. So very thankful that you're here because you get to take advantage of it. And it's a lot of fun. Look at that riot move. Wow. It's a lot of fun when you know what you're doing. It's a game that you always want to play. All right, that's it. I'm out. I'll be around in the option pit posting and might do some trades today. I got to look at TKO too. I forgot I have all this money in the stock. I'm not even looking at it.